Hey, welcome back. We're going to be doing a quick tutorial on how to use the uh, Google Sheets premium workflow trigger within Go High Level to set up some automated things into Google Sheets and take care of looking at all of the pipeline data, some contact data, even some call data. So we're going to go through just the basics of how this is set up and primarily how the automation itself is set up. So some of the first things that we need to do on the front end is ensure that our custom fields and all fields and data points within the Go High Level account are set up correctly first. So whatever you need to track and have pulling from your pipeline data, from your contact level data, and even some of the call level data, we want to make sure that those things are set up correctly first. Once that's set up, we're going to identify which of these data points we want to pull into a Google Sheet and set up a Google Sheet accordingly. So here in an example Google Sheet here, we've got a number of data points from opportunity ID, contact ID, create date, last updated date, contact name, things like that. And you're going to just see in this particular example, there is a probably about 40 or 50 different data points that this individual or this client was looking at pulling through in this example. So you'll see just as we scroll through here, each of these top pieces are one of the data points within the Go High Level platform. See, obviously this just keeps going on and on and on, lots of different questions and different data points within the system. So the first thing to do is to come in and create a table that has all of the data points that would be needed. In this case, I have a tab for opportunities, a tab for contacts, calls, appointment, and then there's a few additional custom things for this one that's not related to the actual automation piece within the platform itself. Opportunities, contacts, and calls are going to be kind of the three that we're going to talk about here in this particular video. But what we're looking to do is pull opportunity level data, contact level data, and ultimately call level data. For contacts, a little bit shorter of detail we have there. And of course, for calls, we've got things like activity date, call ID, contact ID, and you'll see some example data just kind of thrown in here for relevance. So that's how the Google Sheet is set up. But where I really want to spend the most time talking about is how do we set up the automations for it, and what does that specifically look like, and how do we get it set up properly? So the first thing we need to know is it's best to set up for each of those tabs. So I mentioned we have an opportunity tab, a contact tab, and say a calls tab. So we're going to have three different automations that we're going to set up. So if we look through here, pipeline activity to Google Sheets is the first one. I'll go through how to build this here in a moment, but I want to give you the overview first. So first and foremost, we have multiple different triggers that are going to trigger the automation. And this is all pipeline level data. So we have pipeline stage changed, contact created, opportunity changed, contact changed, and opportunity created. Essentially, what we're looking for here is to ensure that anytime something changes that is related to the opportunity card itself, it's going to fire this trigger and make sure that the Google Sheet is up to date so that more or less the Google Sheet is always up to date with live updates. So these are the triggers we've used. We've chosen to put in a 15-second wait period just to allow a moment for everything to update correctly if there's making a couple different changes. Let's say you update one page, go to a second page, and make a few more updates. Just gives a little extra time for that to kick in. And then what we're going to do is a lookup and then an update. And I'll go through these as I set them up here in a moment. But this is the overview of how it's set up. Now, if we go back to workflows here, there's one for contact activity, one for call activity as well. Contact activity can be very similar, but it's contact created and contact changed. Essentially, anytime something happens with the contact, I'm going to wait the 15 seconds, do the same style of lookup and update. Call activity is slightly different. The idea is to get a full log of every single call activity that happens. So anytime there's an inbound call or there's an outbound call or the two triggers, we're going to wait that 5 minutes this time, not 15 seconds, but 5 minutes to allow for a call disposition, which is a custom field in this particular setup. And we're just going to do the create spreadsheet row. So you'll notice here there's no lookup this time. The reason for that is we don't want to update the current rows. We only want to create new rows every single time that something happens with a call activity. This allows us to get true activity versus an old activity getting overwritten with new data. So these are the three. What we're going to do is we're going to go through how to set up one of these in the Google Sheet here. This is where we're going to spend the vast majority of the rest of the time in this particular video. So to get started, we're going to set up our triggers. When you are using the Action Coach snapshot, as long as the snapshot has been loaded into the account, the triggers in this setup should already be here. So we can go in and actually start to just update these, just as like I'm going to show you in the next step. So let's go through and set up a Google Sheet automation. If you're starting from scratch, what you're going to do is you're going to go to Create Workflow. You're going to start from scratch. And then we'll come to the piece here we can set all of this up. First thing we're going to do is we're going to name this. Now you can name this something like Google Sheet Automation. You can call it something else. I tend to call it whatever data that I'm pulling. So in this case, it's pipeline data to Google Sheet. You can just name it something like this. From here, you're going to choose your triggers. So as I mentioned before, it's opportunity created, changed, pipeline changed, contact created, and contact changed are the ones that we're going to use. So we're going to go through and we'll just go through that. So we're going to go to opportunity created. No additional filters needed. We want this to happen every single time that an opportunity is created. Set the second trigger for opportunity changed. Same thing, no additional filters. You're going to come to opportunity to be pipeline stage change. So anytime that the pipeline stage is changed. And we're going to come into contact related stuff. We've actually got contact created, again, no filters, and contact changed. Always recommend if you're building workflows within Go High Level, hit save every once in a while. Just protects the information as you go through. Then we're going to add in our next step. Now, as I mentioned, I like to put a wait step in here. It's not required for the automation to work properly, but I tend to enjoy having some level of wait step just to give it that extra second to catch up with some of the changes that have been made. So I tend to do something less than a minute. So, 0.15 of a minute could be 0.25 of a minute. You can kind of choose what you're going to do there. Let's give this a little bit longer of a time. Let's go 15 seconds, which would be a quarter of a minute. 0.5, and we'll hit save. Now we're going to get into the Google automation workflows. So here we're going to go in and we're going to type in Google Sheets. And then what we need to do is we need to start building out this particular Google Sheet workflow. So the first one we're going to do is a Lookup Spreadsheet Row. So we're going to choose Lookup Spreadsheet Row. Because what is essentially happening here is as this data goes into this automation, we want it to look at the spreadsheet, the Google Sheet that we have set up. We want to look up and see, does this data point exist already? If so, we want it to update. If it doesn't exist, we want to add a new row and put all this data in. So we have to start with the lookup first. Lookup Spreadsheet Row, you're going to choose the account, whichever one is set up, whichever drive it's in, and then you'll choose the spreadsheet that you have. You're going to choose which worksheet this is in. So in this case, we're looking at maybe some, where did that go? We're going to go opportunity data. So opportunities. And we're going to start from the top of the sheet. Refresh headers is essentially just if you add any columns, things like that within the Google Sheet, it would allow you to refresh and see any changes that you've made. But as we go down here, we need a lookup column. So this is essentially saying, when does this function, and you're looking at the spreadsheet, what is it going to filter by? For opportunities, we want to look up opportunity ID because it's a unique ID. Every time that opportunity is updated, this is the thing that we want to see. And it's going to look up whichever column that we have set up here. So we're going to pick this one to be opportunity ID. Now, if you're doing contact data, it may be contact ID. If it's call data, you'll choose a different one based on that. So opportunity ID, and then you're going to choose the lookup value. So we want to use this little thing here. This is how we get to custom values. And we're doing opportunity ID. So we can actually type in here opportunity ID, and you'll see opportunity ID. This is the one that we want. So again, this is our column that we want to look up. We want to see, hey, go look at this column and find the opportunity ID. If the opportunity ID exists, then we want to update it. If it does not exist, then we want to create a new spreadsheet row if it doesn't exist yet. So we click here. That's going to open up a whole bunch of different stuff as we go through here. So create new row. What is the starting column? So we want to start with the top, which is the opportunity ID. And then we're going to go to the ending column, which traditionally will be the last one in the spreadsheet. So you can actually scroll all the way down. You can see this one again has a tremendous amount of stuff. And we'll go ahead and click that one. It's going to open up now here. Every single row is represented inside of this. Okay. So if we come back here, what we need to do now is we need to map every field to the custom field, or every custom field, or every data point within Go High Level to the specific column that it's going to be pushing into. So these are the names of the columns, and this is going to be the data point that you want to put in. So this is where we're going to use this little tool over here for the custom values. And we're literally just going to go step by step and start to fill them in. So opportunity ID, we're going to come in here, we'll type in opportunity ID, select that one. You can see that custom field is going to come into this particular one here. Contact ID, that one's actually, I think, just titled ID, if I'm not correct, or if I'm not mistaken. There it is. So under contact, scroll down, found ID. We have contact create date. That is a custom field that I have set up. Actually, it might be lead create date on this one. Lead create date there. Whatever the contact create date is, I find that the create date does not come through natively, so it can be good to set up a custom field for create date and create an automation to fill that in. Opportunity create date, same thing, just looking for opportunity create date. Go ahead and fill that one in there. Last updated date, I traditionally like that to be, there's this right now field, so you'll click right now, and then you'll just fill in whichever format you like. In this case, we want month, day, year. This way we can very quickly see at the spreadsheet, when was the last time this record was updated? Contact names, you can go contact, full name, opportunity name, which I believe is opportunity name. Yep, there we go. Pipeline, literally you're just looking through and looking for each of these. Pipeline name, look at that there. Stage name, life cycle stage. So this is a custom value that we have, or a custom field we have in this particular account. Life cycle stage. Same here, lead channel custom field. Lead channel. So you see custom field under contact lead channel. And we're just going to keep going down. Opportunity source. Actually, I think that's just opportunity source. There it is. And then there's a whole bunch of different ones in here, right? So we can continue to go down this list and just fill in every single one of them. Primary pain points, another custom field, we can just type that in and start to look for it. Again, there's a lot of different ones in here, but what we're going to be doing is just walking through until we have as many of them filled in as we possibly can. Ideally, every single one is mapped to a column. Either that, or maybe we have some extra columns that we don't need. So in this case, I'm going to stop here just to move on to the next piece and not make this video too tremendously long in terms of going through every single one of these and filling them in. But that is the gist. We're going to click the little button here. We're going to pick the data point within Go High Level and fill it into that column name. Once we have them all filled out, we're just going to hit save. And now we've got our first part of this, which is Lookup Spreadsheet Row. We'll go ahead and hit save. Now, once it's looked it up, if it does not exist, it's going to create the new spreadsheet rows we just worked through. If it does find it, we need to tell it what to do. So once it's looked it up, the next step we want to do is go to Google Sheets. We're going to do update spreadsheet row using lookup. So using that lookup step that we just created, we want to update that same spreadsheet row. Click that. We're going to use the lookup spreadsheet row step that we just created here, should default to that. And then we're going to go through the same setup that we had in the previous Google workflow actions we just went through. Starting column, column A, which is opportunity ID in this case. Ending column, all the way down to the bottom or the last column within our spreadsheet. And then we're going to start filling them in. So once again, we've got opportunity ID, and we do want to, don't use these. These are pulling from that lookup spreadsheet. What we want to do is come down here and look for, because we want to update it with these, the new data directly from our thing here. So we're looking at opportunity ID, so we're going to click that one there. Contact ID, same thing, contact, come down, grab ID, contact create date. If I recall correctly, and this one is lead create date, opportunity create date. Again, we want the actual one, opportunity create date. Last update date, again, that's going to be the right now. Oops, not year. Delete that. Come back in here. Right now, month, day, year. Contact name, contact full name, opportunity name. You can even come down here and grab opportunity name, pipeline. Once again, just continuing to walk through all of this. When you look at this here, there's a lot of different data points that you can pull. So sometimes it can be helpful to come in and just look at all of these pieces as you're working on building out your spreadsheet. These are all the native things that you can pull, and then you can click into your custom fields on each one. You can grab some appointment level data, calendar level data, which is really just the calendar name, some message related things, account, which is your account. So what's the account name, full address of on the account, that sort of thing. Phone call data. So this is, we can do call direction, call to, call from, phone number, all of this we can push into a spreadsheet. Opportunity level stuff, voice AI, and then some additional custom values, things like that. So again, the big piece here is we're just going through and we're filling in every single one of these as much as possible. Once they're all filled in, you hit save. Again, hit save here, and then when you're ready to go and everything is filled in, we simply just publish and hit save, and the workflow will be live. So then every time you update an opportunity card, it's going to look for that spreadsheet. It's going to see if that opportunity already exists in the spreadsheet. It's going to update it if it exists. So let's say you move it from stage 1 to stage 2. It's going to update that current stage. And if it doesn't exist, it's going to create the new row for you and put all of your data points in. It's a really neat way to then be able to take that data, put it into different visualization tools, like a Google Looker Studio or something else like that, and be able to visualize all of your data in a much more clear way, in a more custom way. So this is simply how to use the Google Sheet automation. It is a bit tedious to kind of go through and map every single data point. Now, if you have less data points, obviously it's a little bit easier. The more data points, it's a little bit longer. But simply just walking through and understanding what was the item that we had, what was the field that we need to fill in, and then we start to fill in each of those data points. So with that kind of wraps that up here. Very quickly, I'll go back out and just show the slight difference for call activity. Call activity, as I mentioned, same basic setup, but the difference is we're not using the lookup spreadsheet row. We're only creating a spreadsheet row because we want a record of every single activity that happens. So this time around, we're just going through and we're grabbing the create spreadsheet row action. Again, you'll set up your worksheet, grab the tab that's maybe for calls, and you're going to just simply create one based on starting column, ending column, just like we did in the previous examples I went through. and then start to map those same fields. I did put in call ID here. We do not actually have a custom value or anything for call ID, so we could actually get rid of that one in the spreadsheet. Otherwise, contact ID, contact name, assigned rep, call direction, all of that stuff. These are just things that we can pull data from, and we'll start to pull them through in here. And it's going to create a spreadsheet that has all of these just completely logged right into the spreadsheet for you. So that's a quick update on how to run these things within Go High Level. Start to use the Google Premium Workflow action to start pulling things into a Google Sheet and allow you to play with your data a little bit more on an automated schedule so you don't have to manually pull the data on a regular basis. Hope this was interesting and educational. If you have any questions, comment in the video description below. Be happy to walk you through any of this and help you continue to move things forward.